Let's begin looking at what the SDA Church loves to claim initially. One of their favorite quotes, and it's found in a series of books, Selected Messages, Book 3, on page 30. Little heed is given to the Bible, and the Lord has given a lesser light to lead men and women to the greater light. So besides this making no sense, Adventists love this passage to say, oh, no. See, Ellen said if we just were reading our Bibles, we wouldn't even need her. This makes no sense. You don't need a lesser light to point you to a greater light. That's like shining a flashlight into the sun. But this is what they'll quote to say she's not equal with the Bible. She simply points us back to the Bible. You don't need a lesser light to point you to a greater light. That's like shining a flashlight into the sun.
And you see, somebody will ask the question, if we already have the Bible, why should God raise another prophet who is not a writer of the Bible? Don't you think that is a good question? I think so. Let me ask you. When Jesus was to come the first time, the first advent of Jesus, were the scriptures there? Were the scriptures there? Yes, the Old Testament. If the Jews had studied the scriptures, would they have identified the Messiah, known the time when he's coming? Absolutely. Question. Why did God have to raise John the Baptist, a non-canonical prophet, who has not written any book in the Bible, while they already have the Bible? And John the Baptist will shine his light upon the pages of Scripture and make a people ready to meet the Lord. It is because the Jews only were claiming we are the people of the book. But in reality, they were not studying the Scriptures as they should. And God, out of love, He sends, let me send a non-canonical prophet to help my people before the first advent. By the way, have you ever heard the expression, the greater light and the lesser light? Let's clarify something there. John chapter 1. John the Baptist, who will come before Jesus as the forerunner. Which book did I say? John chapter 1 verse 6, it says, there was a man sent from God whose name was who? John. He came as a witness or a testimony to testify concerning that light, so that through him all might believe. Notice verse 8. He himself was not the light. He came only as a witness to what? Or the text will say, he was not that light. Question. Was John the Baptist, the non-canonical prophet, was he the light? No. Was he a light? How do you know? The text says, he was not the light. John chapter 5. Are you there? Verse 35. It says, you have sent to John, and he has testified to the truth. Verse 35. John was a what? A burning and a shining light. And for a while, you are willing to rejoice in his what? Was John the light? Was he a light? What is the relationship between the light and a light? Are you saying the light is greater than a light? Are you saying that John the Baptist was the lesser light?
This makes no sense. You don't need a lesser light to point you to a greater light. That's like shining a flashlight into the sun.
Leading men and women to the greater light.
Usually when they mock, the very thing that they're mocking is actually in the Bible. It's quite amazing.
When they try to refute Ellen White and some of the things she says, they're not realizing that they're actually attacking biblical principles, and she's acting in accordance with those principles.
That's right.
So they indirectly attack Bible principles, and I don't think they even know this.
But here is the question. When John is called the lesser light, question, were the scriptures there? Yes. Now the question is, what was the greater light? The next verse, that 6, then Jesus says, but I, Jesus says, I have a, what is that next English word there? Greater witness than that of John. Do you notice, according to scripture, the greater light was not the scripture? Who was the greater light? It's Jesus himself. And so John was shining his light on the pages of scriptures so that men and women will behold Jesus Christ, the greater light. Are you following me or not? And make a people ready for the first advent of Jesus. And there is nothing new under the sun. While Jesus was preparing now for his second advent, he sees his people. They only say, we are the people of the book. But like the Jews of old, they do not study the scriptures as they should. And then God says, out of love, let me give my people another non-canonical prophet, a lesser light. By the way, how much of formal education did John the Baptist have? You didn't get that one. Are you saying that John did not have formal education? He was not the PhDs of those days. Maybe it is just a happy coincidence that also Ellen White did not, isn't it? And therefore God, out of love for his church, sent a prophet, a lesser light, to shine its light on the pages of the Bible so that we can behold Jesus Christ, the greater light. But like the Jews of old, the Jews spoke of John the Baptist and said, he has a demon. That God's people rejected the lesser light. And did you know that the people who rejected John the Baptist are the very people who crucified Jesus? You didn't get that one. Apply it. That the people who rejected the testimony of John, they were not ready to meet Jesus at the first advent.